My last stop in Memphis was probably my favorite. It was the half-mile long scale model of the Mississippi River right down on Mud Island. But that's its own video. You can check that out. All packed up now, and Marson here. I stayed the night with him last night. How'd you find me?
Watching your videos.
Yeah, just found me on YouTube and reached out and said he could stay with him in Memphis and cooked me a big breakfast. Thank you for that.
Yeah, no problem.
And then drove me back here, ran some errands along the way. And now we're at the Mud Island Marina getting ready to push off and head south to Mississippi. I did a little exploring once I got to Mississippi that night, mainly to get to a casino because I thought there'd be Wi-Fi there and I could edit videos and charge my phone. Saw this little possum along the way. Sadly, the casino did not have Wi-Fi, so that was about 1.5 miles of wasted walking through the woods. But I did get to see what modern slot machines look like, which is basically sitting in a chair and paying to doom scroll while somebody brings you free liquor. The noise of all the machines eased into an echoey lobby, and then a grassy field beside the parking garage, and then I was in the woods and back on my beach at last. You can't really understand the scale of these beaches just by locally filming them where I'm standing, but there really is miles and miles of sandy beaches and banks, especially with the water in this low stage that it is. Flood stage is plus 34 on the gauge, and we're at negative 6 point something as of this morning. So it's below the benchmark, which is a 0, and that means every kind of sand deposit that the river's been leaving while it's at higher water and carrying all that sediment is now revealed with the low water, and all this stuff's popping up. And I am under some time pressure to get this boat down to New Orleans with me in it. But I'm not going to let this opportunity pass. I'm on these beautiful sand beaches, and I smell anyway, so it might be a good time to take a bath in the Mississippi and wash it all off, get back up on the sand, dry out, and I'm sure this cold water is going to give me a little boost of energy just to go a little faster. So St. Francis River, right there, just the latest tributary of the Mississippi, as this pig keeps getting bigger and bigger. It makes most of its course through Missouri, and up in those parts is a pretty popular place to go whitewater rafting when the rain's coming. But it actually has an outlet, the mouth of the river, down here in Arkansas. Hello. Sorry I missed you. Hope you're okay. Jake. I walked around in the willows a little bit looking for this fella, but either he didn't want to be found or he didn't hear me. So I left him a note on the sand. I'm paddling past the inlet that goes up to Helena, Arkansas, and there's the bridge that goes across from Mississippi. And Mowgli and I stopped here last summer and went to the Delta Cultural Museum, which is kind of showcases some of the history and the blues music of the region. And we're not in the scientific Delta yet, but people just call this whole area the Delta. The scientists start calling it the Delta once I get past Vicksburg, Mississippi, where the Yazoo River comes in to the Mississippi, and from point south of that confluence is the Delta. But up here, this is the spot. So this is part of the Trail of Tears at Helena, Arkansas, and also one of the oldest running blues radio shows. I think the oldest running blues radio shows in the country. But I have no need to stop because my usual haunts where I pick up free Wi-Fi to upload videos are not here. So I don't think I can get internet here, and the daylight's kind of starting to fail anyway. So I'm not going to stop. I'm good on water, I'm good on food, and I'm losing on daylight. So. Still raining, isn't it? It's gonna be one of those days. Weather better suited for a duck. I'm in a lot of pain. a lot of pain, and the conditions are, you know, I'm wet and cold as well. If you ever want to watch a movie or read a book about something someone calls an adventure, and you know, it's just one grand thing after another, you know that's a work of fiction, because it's really not the reality of these things. You know, it's only through an immense amount of pain that you get to anywhere worth going. You know, I don't want to remember this day as one that I hated or that I feel spitefully about. It could be my last day, and spending your last day in a state other than joy just isn't worth it to me at all. You know, if I just start counting my blessings, I'm not even going to get to 10 by the time I realize that side of the scale is a lot heavier than the ways in which I'm suffering. And I'll always start with freedom, and then my health, and I mean, that's enough. I did unfortunately have to make a call to stop. It's a 50-something miles, low 50s, and it was getting really windy and dark, and the rain's really starting to come down when I stopped. And now I have a wet tent because I was setting it up in the rain, and just the way that my tent is built from the inside out, the inside got wet as I was building it, and it really couldn't be helped. So now I'm going to try and kind of salvage whatever dry spots I can and get things as dry as I can before I put my sleeping bag out. It's folding in half when there's a gust. Maybe it goes without saying that after a night of holding onto the wall of my tent, which is thinner than a pair of silk underwear, so that the water wouldn't come inside, I didn't get much sleep. And that day I was so exhausted that I nearly fell asleep in the kayak just sitting there. This is jugging. It's how they fish on the lower Mississippi. They put the jugs attached to a line with a hook with bait on the end. They just kind of leave it till they come back to check if they got anything. Jugging. So I'm kind of changing plans. I think I'm going to get a 2-person boat and kind of slow roll it down to Vicksburg, and then have Dottie meet up with me there, and then go together to the Gulf instead of just New Orleans. And I spent the morning kind of making those arrangements, but also just resting. I pulled up my kayak on the beach, out of the water, laid down right next to it, and then just passed out on the sand. I couldn't go anymore. I didn't get much sleep last night because of the storm. And yeah, new plan, not go at such a suicidal pace. And this is one of my favorite times of day. The sun just set, and the contrails of the planes going by are just these short white flares behind them, and I can see them all over the sky. And behind me it's getting like a deep blue, dark, and then ahead of me there's still all the gradients of colors from night sky behind me all the way to where the sun just set. It looks like they ran aground or something, and yeah, it looks like everyone got out. I don't see anyone floating around in it, but I'm not going in. It reeks like gasoline, and I don't know how long it's been down, but there you go. And I'm not going to try and salvage anything off of it. It's getting dark. There's the Arkansas River. Right here is its mouth where it's dumping into the Mississippi. And these are telling me the water up there is rising, because we got some trees floating down. And usually that only happens when the water picks up and picks them up off the bank and floats them down. I got a grapefruit. How nice is that? There's a better view of the Arkansas River. If you watch closely, you can see part of this bank falling into the river. There's massive sediment loads coming out of the Arkansas, and it builds up right here at the confluence. So this is all very unstable land, building eroding and then rebuilding. But still, some people choose to live on it. I love this. This is a visual lesson in risk tolerance. No two of these houses are built to the same length of stilts. They're not at the same height. Look, this guy, he's like, oh, we're good. This guy's like, I'm gonna be the last one to flood. And then it looks like that one's built really close to the ground, but I can't tell. And then this guy, he doesn't ever want to see the water. But I love it. No two are built to the same height. And it's just an example of how people have different tolerance for risk. There's the shore right there. I'm staying pretty close to the shore, outside of the channel, because I don't want to get run over by this guy right here. The water is moving faster inside the channel because of Newton's third law of motion, saying that because the inertia carries the water in a straight line, it's going to favor the outside bank. And even though I have to sacrifice that speed to be on the inside of the channel, it means I'm not going to get run over by one of these guys. That is Huntington Point, Mississippi, and you can see there's this guy going downstream, okay? And he's moving. And this guy's going upstream. He's holding. He's got his engines going, but he's going the same speed as the current, but in the opposite direction. So he's not going anywhere. He's just holding. And he's leaving that outside track open for this guy to get by. And I've noticed that they give right of way to the tows headed downstream. And I think, I don't know this for a fact, it's because it's easier to hold when you're going upstream, because you could just fire up your engines and then let the current work against you and just hold while your engines are going forward. It's kind of like when airplanes land, they want to land into the wind. They don't want a tailwind to push, they want to land into the wind. And these towboats, when they're holding and they're letting someone else get around that point because they can't go around at the same time, I don't know if it's a law or if it's just a courtesy, that a professional courtesy that they show to each other, giving downstream the right of way. Probably is a law, because it's the Coast Guard and there's laws about everything. There you go, full deconfliction downstream. He's going underway, and this guy just fired up his engine and he's going north. So no incident on Huntington Point. Not much daylight left. Well, not much at all. Behind that neck of land is Greenville, Mississippi. 7 miles by land, 5 by water. I'm deciding right now whether I should pursue it or just find a spot on the bank to call it a night. Ooh, it's getting kind of hard to see in the failing light, but look at the size of these drift pile and all these root balls and stuff. Look, this is just at eye level, but look how high it goes. I mean, this river is really a force, carrying all this junk down here. Check it out. There we go. Tons of wood, as I've already said before, and I got my dogs roasting. Those are smoked sausage, already cooked. I'm just warming them up. Good morning from southern Arkansas. Probably one of my last days in Arkansas, actually. It shouldn't be too much longer. I'm gonna cross into Louisiana, my final state of all the rivers. So this is kind of fun. Someone came into camp last night, a little critter, and he came over, saw my paddle, turned, kept going his way, but walked right beside the kayak and didn't even stop to sniff it or anything. Just kept going in a straight line. And if you follow the tracks, it literally looks like they came straight out of the water. All right, here's the record. I've been counting them all as they went past. He is 6 barges wide and 7 deep. Has 42 barges on that pig. And I don't know if you can see the wake he's kicking up back there, but that makes the biggest one I've seen so far. I just crossed the border from Arkansas into Louisiana, and I think I've outrun the winter at this point. I think I'm okay. I also pulled up on that beach, flipped the kayak over, gave it a good washing, and then took all the photos to sell it when I get to Vicksburg. so I can get a canoe and then put Dottie on board and then have a 2-man boat going south. And this one, I'm hoping with the photos and the ad and everything I typed up that I could find a buyer in Vicksburg and then move south without it. So begins my very first night in Louisiana on this trip. With the setting sun, my favorite time of the day. Water's starting to calm down. Towboats are going home. Not bad. Okay, it happens to be Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving from Louisiana. I've got angel hair pasta, lemon pepper seasoning, olive oil, and bacon bits in there. Croutons for some texture. I don't care for turkey. I have no idea how a dry, tasteless bird became the centerpiece of America's biggest holiday. It's beyond me. But I am missing my sister's cornbread, my mom's pumpkin pie, and just being with my family in general. There's 18 of us, immediate family only, and yeah, I'd really like to be hanging out with them tonight. I know they're probably playing cards and laughing and joking and falling asleep on the couch because they don't want to go to bed and miss out on anything. And I'd love to be there right now. But happy Thanksgiving. I took a big nap. I don't know why I was so tired. But I slept most of the day away, and I'm only going to make about 20 and some change miles today. And it is sunset right now. And maybe 25 more minutes of light if I'm really pushing into twilight. But I do have some moonlight that might give me an assist. And make Vicksburg tomorrow. Maybe tomorrow afternoon. This little teepee that I set up to filter my water because I'm on a beach with no trees. So I just scavenged some driftwood and made a little triangle to hold that. There's all my trash, literal junk. And that's it for me for the night. I guess in a way, this is the end of a phase in the trip where I have been going nonstop every single day, making forward progress since Bismarck. Since I got this kayak, actually. Every day since I got this kayak until today when I'm getting rid of it, I've used it. And today's the last day of that. Yeah. It really does feel like I've died and gone to heaven. I mean, just look at this place. You know, I just don't see how I can get much better than this. Yeah, this is amazing. Conditions change every hour, sometimes for the better. And I've had rain since about 15 minutes after sunrise, and conditions have changed, but they haven't quite been for the better yet. I still have another 10 miles into the headwind until I get to Vicksburg, and I'm gonna try and make the best of it. But there's it's starting to white cap out in the middle of the channel, and I'm holding on to the slack water between the dikes so that I don't get swamped. But it is raining, so I'm gonna try and make quick work of it.
That's fine.
So we got, what's your name?
My name is Jason.
And you came all the way from Mexico to Vicksburg, Mississippi. And then you said last night, tell me what happened.
Well, first, one of the propane cylinders I bought is faulty.
Yeah.
And needs exchanged before it blows up. And second, my little buddy heater that's only been 4 weeks old hit the bed.
Yep.
And then life got cold and uncomfortable.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm going to see if I can help him get to shore here. In this half-deflated dinghy. We'll see how it goes. All right. We'll just pull you in?
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, Lane showed up with perfect timing. He's got him now. He's pulling him ashore. Basically, the line I was using to pull him ashore wasn't attached to anything. So I just pulled a wet rope out and then had to paddle back out and tie him off. And by that time, Lane had shown up. I met Lane coming down the river last year, but saw him on a sandbar in the last video. And made plans to hang out with him when I got to Vicksburg. Lane treated us both to breakfast at Waffle House, and we spent the next couple of hours running around, getting him the stuff he needed to outfit his dilapidated boat for the rest of his trip, which he's taking a technical pause to winter in Greenville, Mississippi before going up the Arkansas River. Well, my good friend in New Orleans has a friend here in Clinton, Mississippi who very, very kindly drove to Vicksburg, picked me up from Lane's after we rescued that guy from his sailboat, and drove me back to Clinton, where I spent the first night in this tool shed because he had family staying in his house. And then went to church with my host where they had been doing a Christmas tree sale for charity, but they were just finishing up, so I got to help with that a little bit. Driving this pig over to a shop where we're going to drop off the remainder of the Christmas trees. Home sweet home. Back in a truck. I stayed in this room for the next couple of days, and for the first time since Bismarck, when I left with my brand new kayak, I did not make forward progress, and I just rested and did nothing at all. And after the side quest, went to the post office to finally send off my passport paperwork, get groceries for Dottie and I going forward, and put together a few things gear-wise and dry things out. And tonight, we are going to the Jackson, Mississippi airport to pick up Dottie. And we will be together for the first time since she left the trip, all the way back in Washington. And she will be with me on the river and then on the bicycle for the rest of the trip. And if you think turkey's so great, you're allowed to have an opinion, even if it's wrong. And if you think this is unjust, what I'm saying about the turkey, then consider the turkey. And instead of eating it, just let it live. Turkeys are better observed than swallowed. And let me have my opinion.